Abuseni como our channel so Hoxie AGH Politics Albany. Podcast of training because me headlines. Jemre na edibi exobo ni dem ya raksi mu se ene edi di kanya. Structure with subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell so mama share na afofron so insight into me kebi. Ya na oja comment constructively under the comment section. Na afi woti ma hit notification bell so. Ya the news be tomorrow and I'll be the first person amonsa ebe to me akami. Na yebo ewura chairman Wontumi yede somo ewo channel yi so say eye attorney general atimi opozi eye no lawyer attaching ni plead to defer eye 3rd July ruling no because eye document bi a obehia na wotimi e dia start asem no foforo no eye court registry no emfa ema ni say ntino ohun ba bia o start free any ba bia o de kwa wi na lawyer attaching ankasa ababonten so abekasa na wotimi expressing disappointment based on this issue onua ehun ebehia say ebobo awuram na yahwe ne yeko ene di eba sheno so am say haxi DH politics
for choosing us. Well, this afternoon, the Office of the Attorney General has mounted a stronger opposition to an application seeking to delay judgment in the ongoing criminal trial involving the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Entry Bosiaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, over alleged illegal mining activities at the Summer Boy concession. His newly appointed lawyer, Samuel Atacham, filed a motion at the Criminal Division of the Accra High Court, asking the court to postpone its judgment to allow him sufficient time to familiarize himself with the proceedings and trial records before filing his written address. Legal Affairs correspondent Fatau Bayaga has more in the following news text report.
According to court documents, Samuel Atachia argued that a sudden change of counsel at this critical stage had left the accused persons without adequate legal preparation for the final phase of the proceedings. He also invoked Article 19 of the 1992 Constitution, arguing that the accused persons are entitled to a fair hearing, which includes effective legal representation at every stage of criminal proceedings. Mr. Atachia further told the court that despite filing a notice of appearance and requesting certified copies of the case records, the registrar had not yet made the documents available, limiting his ability to review the proceedings. He maintained that the application was not intended to delay justice but to ensure adequate preparation and fairness before judgment is delivered. However, the Attorney General's office has asked the court to dismiss the request and allow the case to proceed to judgment. According to the prosecution, a 13-paragraph affidavit in opposition was filed on Thursday, June 25 by Senior State Attorney Nana Ama Prempe. The affidavit argues that the application lacks merit because the accused persons had legal representation throughout the trial and the withdrawal of their former lawyer was voluntary rather than the result of circumstances beyond the counsel's control. The prosecution further contends that Mr. Atachia's decision to seek the case records directly from the court registry instead of obtaining them from the previous lawyer was not made in good faith. It therefore maintains that the application should be dismissed so the trial can proceed to judgment without further delay.
Well, let's explore this further here on The Pulse. Join me now is lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, Samuel Atachia. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. You're asking the court to postpone judgment simply because you have only recently taken over the case. Why do you believe this is even necessary at this time, knowing fully well that the AG says that they're done and dusted with this case?
Well, then what is the point of filing addresses if they are done? And if you go to the law, I mean, the accused person is entitled to address the court. The law says so clearly. And right now, there is a very serious climax of the case that we shouldn't play down at all. The man is bereft of counsel. The whole state, the Republic of Ghana, is represented by the Attorney General. Why is the state represented by the Attorney General? Because of the power of counsel. The Attorney General is going to urge upon the court that Wontumi should be imprisoned or convicted. And now the individual is having no counsel. But the Attorney General is going to address the court and file processes to divert. Why should we not have fair trial that I should also study the proceedings critically and then aid Wontumi and submit that the case is not proven beyond reasonable doubt? For that matter, it should be acquitted and discharged. And why are we in an ambulance mood relative to the liberty of the individual and fair trial as enshrined in the Constitution? I can't come to terms with that.
But he has always had legal representation. Andy Apiakubi has been his counsel. And the Attorney General argues that your application is already coming in at a time where he feels it's only to delay the proceedings. And so I'm wondering how you respond to those accusations.
Why should anybody say that we want to delay the proceedings? Now, do you expect a carpenter to remove the tooth of a patient, or you want a dentist to do it? What is more critical here is that the law says that he's entitled to address the court. And how do we address the court? Unless I internalize, the proceedings that have gone ahead of me. I don't have a clue about the case. So if the Attorney General is insisting that, let's close the door to the accused person in terms of addressing, the court, and then I will have the opportunity to address the court, that's an unfair prejudice to the accused person. And I can't understand why the Attorney General will not give a little space to the accused person so that we address the court. And whenever the judge is ready, after having listened to arguments from us, the judge will come out with this decision. That is what justice is all about. I thought we have a Ministry of Justice. Is that not so? Or we have a Ministry of Prosecution. So if you are in an indecent haste to have the case done at the expense of the accused person, then what justice are you ministering to Ghanaians? I believe the Attorney General should see his role as a very fair player in the justice delivery system, rather than saying that, we are ready, we believe we are going to have convictions, we believe, what kind of, advocacy is that? So I will make my points very clear that by operation of law, if you want to have fair trial, there's an opportunity that the man should not be bereft of a lawyer. They should have the benefit of counsel. I'll look at the proceedings, and then I'll write out my submission for the consideration of the judge. After all, the outcome of a case is more serious for the accused person than the Attorney General. If you look at the balance of hardships, a man hasn't gotten the opportunity to, address the court. Probably by some error, he goes to jail. How do you compensate for it? And how is the state going to suffer if we are given a couple of days or even weeks to come out with a credible address to aid justice? How is the state going to suffer? I can't understand that.
But at what stage did you assume responsibility for Chairman Wontumi's defense? Because we've always known that Andy Apiakubi has been representing him. He tried to withdraw his legal counsel. The court did not permit that. And so why exactly is there a need for a change of legal representation at this point in the proceedings?
Well, subsequently, I don't know the technical issues that visited the application for withdrawal of counsel. But I got to know later that, he filed it. The process that is out of the case. So, madam, the critical matter is that, can you do a serious legal work as an individual who has no legal training? When the Constitution talks about the right to counsel, what does that mean? That means in critical matters of this nature, a lawyer should represent you. And how can the lawyer do any competent job? Unless he comes to terms with the proceedings. And is it too much for a lawyer to study, the proceedings, marry it with law, and write out a very competent written submission to aid justice, and then the judge will consider? And then you believe that it's only the Attorney General who should write a one-sided argument for the consideration of the judge? I think it will be to the disadvantage of the accused person. And that will not be in sync with fair trial as enshrined in the Constitution.
Now, I'm wondering, if the court dismisses your application and proceeds to judgment, what will be your next line of option?
Well, we advise ourselves, we wouldn't want to sort of, place our weapons in the public space, But we will advise us. I believe the judge will exercise the powers of justice and give us the opportunity to address the court. I believe the judge should have a sense of fair trial as enshrined in Article 19 of the Constitution and give us the opportunity to address the court.
Okay, stay with me. Let me bring in a private legal practitioner at this point, Lawyer Martin Kpebu. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. We're just hearing from lead counsel, from Chairman Wontumi, tell us that there are a lot of legal bottlenecks, and there are concerns that if their application for at least an extension of time is not granted by the court, they will be ensuring that there is no fair trial moving forward. What legal grounds really are they that lawyers can rely on to justify such a request?
So these things happen. That's the one lawyer withdrawing and another one coming in. So usually the strongest reason is that the new lawyer is new. The new lawyer is new. So usually the court grants some time, okay? And because the new lawyer doesn't know the whole case. And customarily, or maybe the word is not custom, let's say usually, at least, you would find 1 month, a judge granting the new lawyer 1 month to study. But the cases vary. So in a case where the judge has a hunch that, look, the bringing on a new lawyer is just to delay the case, you would not easily find 1 month. You may find less, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Yeah, so look, let me tell you plain truth. Usually, these things, as I said, no two cases are the same, right? The circumstances of each case would determine. That's why I said that when a lot of factors point to an attempt, an orchestration to delay the trial, the judge will not readily give 1 month. He may give less. But as for giving a bit of time, it's to be expected that once you have a new lawyer in front of the judge, right, there would be a bit of time given for the new lawyer to be able to study. And this one too, so you see, another factor that would be the court would be looking at is that, as far as I'm aware, so when I say 1 month, you see that in this particular case, the attempt to change a new lawyer and the announcement of a new lawyer didn't happen today. You see that it's been some weeks. It's been at least 2 weeks. So the judge, in looking at how much time to give the new lawyer, would also look at how much, because it's public knowledge, because I remember clearly that a little over 2 weeks ago, we had this same conversation, yes, on Joy News. It was top story. And at that time, it was already clear who was coming. That Honorable Atachian was taking over. And I remember it's been over 2 weeks. So that would also be, and it's public knowledge. So this is, I mean, we do this in newspapers, etc. So Honorable Atachian will be asked, when did he take over? It will come from when it came out public, and there are stories on it when he took over. So to be very clear, it's not as if the 1 month would then start counting from the day the judge deals with the case. You see, but as for getting a bit of time, it's likely that he would get. But the specifics, I'm saying that it varies from case to case. And in this case, the news had already been in the news portals for at least 2 weeks now that Honorable Atachian was taking over. And so the time will start counting from when the news was made public.
But in this case, where the AG argues the case is far advanced in terms of the trial and that what is left is just the declaration of judgment, do you think they even have a case in court?
Oh, it's still the same answer. So, they still, when I say the same answer, it means that if it is the basis of it, you can't force a person to work. So Apia Kubi cannot be forced to continue working if he doesn't want to work, and for so many reasons, right? So he pulled out, and as I said, his pulling out was more than 2 weeks ago, right? And then we heard Honorable Atatia had come in, right? Yeah, so for me, as far as I'm concerned, once the new lawyer has come in, right, he will get some time. So it's not, when you say the case is very much advanced, let's be very clear. There's no way, let me just answer. There's no way a court will say that because the case is advanced, a new lawyer cannot come in. No. Even on the day they have to give judgment, a new lawyer can come in. Yes. So because you can't force the lawyer who wants to withdraw to continue working. You see, we've abolished slavery more than 300 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So you can't force somebody to work if he says he cannot work. It's personal service. It's rendering personal service. He's using his skills, etc. So once Apia Kubi says he can't continue, he has to be let go, and then a new one take over. And when the new one takes over, he needs a bit of time.
I see. Let me bring back Samuel Atacha. I want to find out from you, beyond the procedural issues before the court, are you even confident that the evidence presented so far during the trial supports your client's innocence?
Well, Madam, I don't want to pretend that I have clairvoyance, but I'm telling you that as counsel people is saying, it takes a professional lawyer to internalize the processes so he will know what to do. So I've not read the processes. I just got the full gamut of the record yesterday. So I'm going to spend some time with it. But for me to be afforded the opportunity to peruse the record and advise my client and or file a written submission is in aid of fair trial, because I've urged upon everybody that, look, even the state or the republic is having a lawyer. How much more an individual? So what is the understanding of the balance of justice, where the state is being represented by a whole attorney general, but the individual is now bereft of lawyer when the case has climaxed? And Martin will agree with me that this is the most important point, where you summarize the proceedings, marry it with law, and make submissions that the case has not been proven beyond reasonable doubt, which could sway, it doesn't always happen, but it could sway the judge that this man deserves an acquittal. How can anybody say that this is not too important to be considered by the judge? So I'm very surprised that even the Attorney General filed an affidavit, in opposition, and say that we are trying to delay the trial. But then, if you don't give us the opportunity, and then we don't shed light on the case from our perspective, and the man suffers miscarriage of justice, how do you compensate for it? Just a couple of weeks could be fine for us to put it across. People go to the Supreme Court and they ask for extension of time.
We ain't some who team course or channel so mammy and also Jim Rek as an body in the Ebishia. Na ya sumo kwa nso channel swam say which must subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, share up front.